Right, what am I doing today? Good morning. If you've seen what I've been doing, I finished the recordings, we finished the mixes. We have all the most important thing for me is the audio, of course, and the music, right? We're talking about the album, right? Falling Then Flying. This is what I'm doing videos about now. And then I moved on to the design of the cover and the booklet, right? If you, well, I don't know if you've seen it. I have two other releases where I made the designs, but they came without a booklet. And the booklet, this time I wanted to credit all the people that had participated within the album. And so I decided to put a booklet in the album, which is a double album to start with. So it's going to be a triptych, like I said, right, with two CD trays and a booklet in the middle. Now, I told you about that idea that Catherine had, where the booklet has where the triptych has my face and the booklet comes out of my head, right? That can't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for a simple reason that has nothing to do with us. Basically, the company, and this is what I'm going to show you, has sent me this is a template that they send you to design over, right? And as you can see, the slit is in the bottom. Yeah, it looks as if it's in the top, but it's not. It's at the bottom, because that's the top and that's the top, as you can see, right? Which means this thing gets folded like that and then folded like that, right? And that slit for the booklet ends up at the bottom. So I basically contacted the company and I asked them. I said, "Hey, can you do it the other way?" And they said, "No, we can't. And if we have to redo a template with the printers to get that done, it'll cost you a fortune." So I thought, wow. So basically, the whole deal has changed now, and I wanted to show you a bit what it entails and what you go through when you start designing a booklet. It's quite a thing. Let me see. I'm looking around here. Right, that's the one I start with. That if you can see, let's see if you can see that. That's a template they sent you, right? They sent from the company, from the factory, and it's a PDF, and you design your stuff onto it, right? And then that thing there is a bleed, right? So it's about, I think it's 5 millimeters. So they basically tell you, you can see it there, no text area. So don't put any text there, because when they cut it, the cut marks are those, you see, there and there. So that cut mark there is going to align with that one, and they're going to cut at the edge there. But if you have text coming up to here, it might get cut. You never know. So that's basically a safety bar that they put in so that you don't go over that. And then they just delete that. Let's see if I can. Hang on. Why can't I get rid of it? I should be able to do that. Anyway. Weird. Anyway, let's see. So I started by you start by designing it, right? And there's nothing there. So let's say that's the cover and the back cover, right? So I decided, okay, that's going to be the same as the album, yeah. And then in the back, I'm going to thank people and put a photograph of me in the studio, right, of myself there. Now, that has changed because then Catherine came up with the face idea and all that. So now, because the slit is in the bottom, the face will go onto this book. And that's how it's changed from different things. Like that was an option, if you can see. That's another option. Yeah, so you keep designing different things to see what's best, right? Now, you can see it's all my pictures that I tried to get. Now, the one that ended up being the one is not that one, is that one, this one, right? Now, so that's going to be the cover of the booklet, and that's going to be the back. Now, in the back, I decided to take the photograph up to the cover, so where the fold is. And then what happens is you start doing, like for example that, list of songs, people who participated, and then a story that I wrote. I wanted to write my encounter with the crow into it. So you start putting it all in, you see, and I actually put a photograph of Bran and my hand feeding it. And these things, yeah, you basically put them in, you see. This, if I do that, and then, hang on, if I do that and come here and put it at full whack, that's what it is. It's the same as the front cover that you saw just now, that, yeah. So you grab that, that's all design, right? So you grab that, you can take it in bits, right? That's different, that's one thing, that's another, that's all just, I drew these arrows, I bought this font, yeah, you need to, this font is called Natalie, and I really liked the font. Basically, Catherine said, why don't you write it down with your handwriting so it's personal? And I said, oh, amazing. I started trying to write. Bloody hell. It's impossible. I didn't like any of it, right? So I ended up finding a font, which is a handwriting font like that. And I went in and I bought the actual font. You buy, it's not very expensive, but you buy the rights to be able to use it commercially, right? Because if not, this comes out, you sell it, and then somebody says, hey, that font's mine, right? I created that. Where's the paperwork that says that you can use it, right? So you just go and do stuff like that. But that is all design. That's two arrows which are joined together, two, you see? So I actually went in and drew that, then stuck it together, and then I think there's something wrong with this keyboard. I just realized, because I can't seem to do anything with it. Anyway, so don't say that. So you see that if I undo what I just did, opacity, then undo move, it shows where I've been putting it, right? Same as that. That's a frame I took from a video I made of Bran, you see? And I'm feeding it. So basically I put it there behind the text. Anyway, to make a long story short, this is getting really long. This booklet is 34 pages long in the end. So it's going to be very long. Now you can see the whole story about Bran with another photograph that I put there that you can see. Yeah, that one. That's my hand, actually. And that's that. I decided this album has a lot of bowls, bowl recorded onto it, right? So I decided to put that bowl into it in the background. And I decided to put a bit of the tree from my other release there with the birds and stuff. So, and then there's another bowl, that's another photograph I took of the other bowl which I use, which is the bowl in G. And then because I said at the beginning, it'd be great if you can follow the lyrics when you're listening to the music. I had to put the lyrics in, so that's 20 lyrics because it's 20 tracks. Well, not all have lyrics, right? Then I decided to put for each musician a small bio and a photograph, right? As you can see, yeah. So I have these guys, everybody's in, right? I've been chasing people around. This is, I'm trying different stuff. Like, do I put a frame around it or not? You see, like that. And all that's design. All this is design, and you have to do it, right? And then you go in, that gets deleted as it has done now. Clearly the keyboard started working again. And then I put as last page the choir from Stagecoach, yeah, with a photograph with all the kids and their names, and then a short bio of myself. Now and then the last pages. Now all that took months or weeks to get into, and before that, nobody knows where each one of them has been in the track. So I decided to make a chart, which is in the middle of the before this page starts, 24 and 25. Page 24, 25 is just a chart with all the tracks, and then drum, bass, electric guitar, acoustic guitar, and everybody that's participated and where they are in the music. So it's been a massive endeavor project, right? And that's first stage, right? I'll close this. Yeah, don't save. Yeah. Close everything up. Now, this ends up being put in a PDF, right? Which is like that. Yeah. Once you have it in a PDF like that, then, and the setup is interesting. That's page 34 and 1. Yeah. Because the backside of that, which is the last page, is going to be that, which is page 2, you see? So it is a booklet. Now, once you've done that, you produce a first printout. Yeah, you don't do it all the time because you just do it on specific pages, but printing that out eats up all your ink. So you have to be, you have to save up ink in a way, because if not, you don't get to print it many times. So printout comes out like this, with all the markings and everything. So then you get a guillotine or a paper cutter and cut all these pages up, yeah, into the shape of this booklet. Then, because these are white in the back, I have to go in and stick them like that. Yeah, but as you can see, it's there, I see. What you can see with the printout is stuff like, for example, numbers on the pages, too low. So you grab a pen, yeah, and you put, whatever. You just add a note there. That shouldn't be cut there. So reduce this circle, stuff like that. This is all design, right? Now this, you check the color on this also, but also the amount that it's coming through behind the text. If you can't read the text, it's because this is too bright. This is now at 15%. And then you check the photographs. That's how you see if you prefer that kind of frame, because I did one with a frame and one without, or two without. Yeah, so that or that. Yeah, and you use that you just printed. Once you stick it and do it, yeah, you can see printing all that background is not very good, and it uses a lot of ink, right? So same as that. But most of it is white. But I'm quite happy today because I have actually done my first printout, which means and now everything's changed, the color. Now, which means I can go in and start writing down what I need to change, and that's most of the work done. Yeah, this is a booklet I based it on. Basically, you use other booklets. I had a couple. There's another one somewhere. Anyway, but this is a Julie Cooper's Continuum, and I thought it was quite good actually. So just for measurements, yeah, just to check that music is really interesting. This one, you see, she hasn't put any frames around it or anything in the background like I have. But it's quite straightforward, this book. But she has, clearly she had a couple of pages left, and she decided to put big photographs and then acknowledgements. But you see, this is the same as the cover of the CD, and that's exactly the same, but without that. So that was interesting to base it on, basically to see that the distances were right, which were naturally right. You know, I did it first and then I checked it, and they were exactly the same measurements, like 6 mil, 5 mil. But then you can check with the printout that this bowl in the background is not conflicting. You can still read the text, so it's good and stuff like that. And that's what I've been doing. And now I have to stick it as a booklet, fold it, and then have the experience of turning the pages and seeing how it's going to look, right? And then continue with the design of the actual face of the CD and the inside trays and all. And when that's ready, I'll be closer to sending everything in and having it done. But just wanted to share with you in 18 minutes, sorry about that, how much work goes into these things, right? So see you soon, and have a good weekend.